The country's experienced stage 2 rolling blackouts since Friday. For more, let's bring in Eskom spokesperson Sikonathi Mantshantsha. Sikonathi, a very good morning to you.
Good morning, sir, and good morning to your viewers.
All right, give us the current situation with regards to Eskom and what led to the suspension of load shedding.
Thank you. Since Friday evening, we have managed to return generation units at the Medupi Power Station 4 because the rains did really, the deluge did reduce and almost halved. So we were able to feed in the coal to the power station, and that has really helped to ease the capacity constraints. In addition to that, 2 other generation units at other power stations have returned to service, which over the past 24 hours, which again helped further ease the constraints, enabling Eskom to lift the load shedding at this point. And we have another 4 generation units that are returning to service from maintenance during the week, which again will put us in a much better position than we were this past weekend to meet demand for the coming week.
So you say you have these 4 generation units coming back into service. So what does that mean in terms of if we still get more rain this week, that reduces the chance of load shedding? Is that the case?
The point I'm making is that we have returned these 4 at Medupi because the amount of rain has reduced since Friday morning when we implemented load shedding. There's an additional 2 units that also did contribute from 2 other power stations. So yes, the rains are indeed continuing, but at this point we are comfortable that we will be able to generate power from those units. And remember, this is, if nothing else, really big breaks again during this period. So we are expecting another 4 generation units to return to service during this week, which will take us hopefully and indeed easily through the week with reduced risk of load shedding. That is, again, let's repeat, should anything go as planned.
Yeah. Look, I want to just discuss this correlation between the rain, wet coal, and the generation of power. Just help our viewers understand this issue, because logically you would think that the simplest solution is to cover the coal. Is that easier said than done? What's the challenges here?
And no, it's unfortunately not that easy. The starting point, perhaps, is that every power station should have at least a minimum of 20 days worth of coal right at the facility. So when you are not able to get in coal from the mine, you take from there. But this huge amount of coal is always sitting there outside, because it can be as high as a building of 4 stories, for example. So you take from that when you are constrained from taking coal directly from the mine. You cannot cover all of that. But what Eskom has done over the past year, it has invested in the drainage of those coal stockpiles to make it easier or reduce the impact of the floods on the coal, so that you can be able to scoop the coal and put it on the burner.
But
then the mines.
Sikonathi, I mean, it's obviously not good enough, isn't it? Because as a result of wet coal, we had this load shedding. What's the long-term solution here? What more can be done in order to improve that drainage system and prevent this from happening again?
We have, over the past 2 weeks, as a result of the investments into the drainage system, to improve the drainage system and to improve the handling of coal over the past year, the investments we have made, they have been able to carry Eskom through without load shedding during the heavy storms that we had warned about from the cyclone Eloise. So we are putting further emphasis on these improvements, extending them to all the power stations, in order to make sure that we will be able to reduce indeed the impact.
So talk to us about this further emphasis. Sorry to come in, Sikonathi. Talk to us about this further emphasis. I just want to get the viewer a sense of where we're going with this, and the rate of load shedding or the increased chance of load shedding in the near future. What will happen in the next month or so? Talk to us about the time frames that you have set in place in order to put paid to this issue.
We have been saying for the past year that the risk of load shedding remains elevated as Eskom has increased the maintenance on the power stations, which on its own takes out some capacity, and you do the maintenance in order to improve the performance. So the risk of load shedding does remain elevated until late this year. And by that, I do not mean it will be eliminated totally later this year, but there will be a significant reduction in the occurrence of load shedding. And we will keep updating the people of South Africa should the need arise at any time.
All right, Sikonathi, thank you very much indeed, sir, for your time and your insight. Sikonathi Mantshantsha, the Eskom spokesperson.